Good morning. Weekly update of outside U.S. Stock markets, such as European markets, European ETFs, some indexes, and then some Asian indexes, global indexes. I'm Rich Potts for Critical Point. Wednesday, April 30th, 9:58 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's begin with the EFO fund, Ultra MSCIE fund. Okay. And basically, the model's saying really it shouldn't top for another 2 weeks, and it could stay up longer than that, all the way in towards June, and then pull back for level one. And it is now working on giving us general ideas when to expect a bottom, and that is for the week of June 2nd on into the week of June 30th. Okay. Now, the problem with that is I'm wondering, can the market get caught off guard here a little bit and top out sooner because of U.S. probably topping for a level two now, and U.S. can be bearish in the May-June, as I've given you in the stock update, the normal stock updates, okay, and the alerts. So my guess is give me a negative week now into the coming weeks. I have to assume a level two top. The model's holding out for higher still, and I kind of get that. I think it is the better investment is in Europe, not U.S., but I'm concerned Europe might just suddenly take a breather here and top out sooner. So be a bit cautious here, maybe a little late to be buying here. And eventually, yes, I see it coming down into a level one bottom. So up and then down. And I don't think it will come down as much as the U.S. It's rebounded better than the U.S. It got hammered a little too much into this level two bottom. I think we're going to get a bullish head and shoulders pattern for you chart and technical people, something like this. So I don't think it's coming down to huge amounts, but I don't think this is really the time to keep buying. I could be wrong because people might just say, just keep selling U.S. and move the money somewheres, and it may be just enough demand that the other markets are tight enough. I am bullish on European economies, and I think they're going to pump money more than in the next few to several years than they've done in several decades. I think it can create some better things. I am long-term bullish into next year, following year for Europe in general, but we just have to watch out. It can turn around. Now, this is another European fund. It's symbol UPV, Ultra FTSE Europe. Both of these funds were 2X. They make you twice as much, lose you twice as much, okay? Now, this one's a little bit different structure. I like this. This is more in line with the U.S. market. It can top this week, and it may not top into the week of May 26th. A little bit different timing, and we still offer maybe June 9th out into July 21st for a bottom here. So give me a negative week here. I think we got a level two top, and it's time to bring this down. And this one might be a little more in line with the U.S. and look a little more accurate, especially if Europe just suddenly decided to fall here with the U.S., okay? Now, what else do I have? This is the Euro. This is the FTSE Euro top, and I'm sorry, that's an intraday chart. Let's see if I can change that quickly. I'm going to take it to a daily. Okay, and then is this today? Good. So it's already turning down in sympathy with the U.S. for the Euro 100, okay, the FTSE. Now, let me also, I don't need to do the weekly. I think we just have to consider, let me double check the weekly here. This is new for me, and I got to get some more model analysis going here. This can actually top this week right along with the U.S., but it tends to, the model would favor a little bit later here. I think it's time for a retracement. I don't think it's going back to this low. I wouldn't be surprised that's a long-term bottom, okay? What else I got? I'm trying to add some more things to look at here and build upon at least this European, if not global things here for coming years here, but I'm a little bit behind. Sometimes I put things up and then I don't really update them for the model quick enough. Here's something, Norway. This is Norway Index. Very intrigued by this. This is the daily, and it's not trading yet today, okay? So, this may be an end-of-day update. Same story. I can back off on a short-term basis here. Let me just take that to weekly, I think. That one actually should go higher in the next few weeks. Okay. Again, I got more modeling to do here in some of these individual countries that I'm adding, but I'm just concerned, even if the modeling could say it's going higher in the next few weeks, I'm just concerned Europe could get in line with the U.S., and we already know of at least that one European fund that is in line with the U.S. So something can fall apart at any moment, but the better forecasters should go up. Now, this is a Swiss SMI And I believe it is going higher in the 26, 27. That's the monthly chart. We'll take this to a weekly now. And let me double check. By the looks of this, this is actually in line with the U.S. It can top this week. It can top a few weeks from now. Even the European markets that can top now and be in line with the U.S., it allows a little later, but even later than the U.S., even if we're wrong on the U.S. and it's suddenly rebounded for some reason, there's something else that could break it lower here. By the way, I think this bad news here for the U.S. right at the moment is probably going to support China to keep sticking with fighting. I think they were going to fight anyways, but it probably encourages them, and it may even encourage a few other countries to back off. So how well is that going to work out? All right, but anyways, I've added the Swiss index and the Norway index. I'm very pleased with that, and we'll take a look at those in the future here, and I'll try to get caught up, make this a little better service to get a little more in line with what I'm doing with the U.S. markets here. All right, let's go to, this is my monthly list, but it may not be set on monthly. This is Italy. Slam down, slam up. I think it's too fast. I think it needs to back off May, June, but I think ultimately it's going higher into next year. That's a fund actually. And if you're wondering the symbol on that fund, it is EWI, Italy iShares Fund. Let's go to the German DAX index, okay, and this is weekly. And in theory, this should actually go higher a few weeks and then come down. It's not in line with the U.S. for a top. But I'm nervous they may just give up. If the U.S. takes a good beating, maybe Europe just gives up. Now, maybe for the next couple of weeks, the U.S. goes down, but money flows into Europe, puts the U up a little bit. Then maybe 3 or 4 weeks out, U.S. is still going down, and people don't put money into Europe. They just take it out of U.S., but that could then cause some, make it more vulnerable for at least profit taking in Europe, and maybe some concerns the U.S. drags the world economy down. So I don't know what to do. This is a split thing in Europe here where some of these can top right here, right now. Others are not supposed to top for a couple of weeks and could top quite a bit later than that even. Yet I'm more worried the ones that top later could just give up now. I'm more concerned the ones that are right in line with the U.S. now can give us some problems here where if we're not cautious, we can be a little too bulled up for a little too long. This is India Sensex. I think they're kind of fixing things, not only with relationships with U.S. and business, but other countries, but they're maybe fixing some things internally there. I think you probably got a long-term bottom in India, and this is the Sensex index. I think it's going higher in the 26, 27. Same time, however, May, June, I can see a setback here in sympathy with the world that is in sympathy with the U.S. Backing off. China Shanghai Index, they slammed it down, slammed it up. I think that's too much. I think it's going down the next May, June here. Needs to pull back here, retrace some. I think it could go higher later in the year into a long-term top and may learn it could stay up higher into next year. But I'm really not all that bullish, and I don't particularly care because I think China does better than its stock market reflects. And part of the reason is they take care of their people and take care of business. In the U.S., we only take care of business, and our stock market does very, very well while our people are basically dying and getting poor. So at any rate, now, I think that's all I got to say on China. Let's keep scrolling down the list here. Here's Spain IBEX. Of course, they had a big power outage, but it didn't seem to bother their stock market. They slammed it down, slammed it up. I think they've already seen a long-term bottom. This could be a last-minute long-term bottom. This should be too late for a long-term top. I think it's a sign it's going higher to 26, 27. But like the others, I can see it setting back May, June. In fact, in theory, it wouldn't bottom in May. It won't bottom to June. Maybe that's a sign that can push us up a little more into early May while the U.S. is going down. But then as the U.S. keeps going down, then eventually these other European countries or the rest of the world comes down as well. And then it bottoms in June. I wonder, though, if that's a reverse modeling clue for the U.S., that it won't bottom until June, okay? Some other things we'll have to study here. Nikkei slammed it down, slammed it up. I'm concerned it's too much. It needs to backpedal, needs to consolidate, can have problems in May, June here. Same time, I wouldn't be surprised that's a long-term bottom. After a long-term top, it's probably going higher into 26, 27, but it could take quite a while to get its feet under itself and get going here. But I think there is some possibilities. Brazil, which I think at the moment is the only South America. These 3-year business cycles, they're really LT3, so that's how old this chart is because they switched from that to LT3s. At any rate, I'm optimistic Brazil can do better. I'm optimistic South America can do better. Problem is, and this is a monthly chart, problem is I can still see it can also slip. It might go higher into May when U.S. doesn't, but it can probably go lower May into June right along with the U.S. I'm not convinced it's like going to continue to like power ahead here. But let's face it, even the rich are pulling money out. Even pro-Trumpers are pulling money out of the U.S. They're putting it to work in other countries, okay? Not just Europe, but Europe has been the headline thing here. All right, let's go down to see what else they've got here. Okay, here's South Korea. And South Korea, they slammed it down, slammed it up. That one, I don't particularly care if it comes back down or not. I think it can be rather stable. I think it's probably found a long-term bottom. I think it's working higher than 26, 27. It's just a matter, does it give up over worries over U.S. impacting the overall global economy here? Okay, let's go to Portugal, the PSI index. All right, they slammed it down, slammed it up. I don't care for that. I'm thinking it needs to pull back May, June. Probably won't bottom to June to even July. That's later than what I was kind of thinking maybe for U.S., but it is allowed. But they might push it to just a little bit higher first and then back it off. I ought to start studying this on a weekly basis. Again, I'm hoping to get more details and give you more ideas here of, this is rather strange. In theory, this could go higher for a month and a half, then down. I don't particularly care for that. And it hasn't taken out that high. If it'll take out that high in the next week or two, then I would expect it to go higher and higher for a while. And it's not going to have too many problems with the U.S. I'm a little afraid this is just too wild and crazy, sloppy. I guess I just don't trust Europe to keep going higher for a couple of more weeks, then down to be in line with the U.S. I'm a little concerned they're going to start down now. They may be slow at it. They may be able to bounce up at times as well. And the more serious selling comes quite a bit later. But I'm just concerned of the modeling forecast, some of these markets going up for a few weeks yet. I'm afraid it might not be right. And at least the model is forecasting some of these European markets to go down now, okay? So, Canada Index, I think that's probably a level 2 top. I think it's in line in sympathy to the U.S. I think it's going lower, okay? And that is this week. I think it's going lower into May, June with the U.S. This might be a long-term bottom, don't know yet. I think Canada can hold up better than the U.S. I still see the U.S. as potentially the weakest in the world, basically, all right? It's just a matter of dragging the rest of these lower before everything goes higher. And someday the U.S. will go higher, and I think we'll see these European markets do quite well and move higher. It seems like I'm missing, here's France, okay? France did not rally as well as the others. A little bit puzzling there, but it is in line with the U.S. It can be over and done with this week. It's a little early. It can be overdone. So again, Europe definitely has a split when Europe ought to go higher next 2, 3, 4 weeks, then down to catch up with the U.S. going down. But some of that European is actually already in line with the U.S. It may or may not go up next few weeks, but it can definitely start down. And I guess I'm going to favor that the forecast saying we can be bullish a few weeks yet really isn't going to work out that well. I think it's probably a sign that it's going to be tricky if you're buying Europe here. It may be best to be trying to buy some pullbacks, even if you miss out a little upside in the next couple of weeks. It may be best to wait a little bit here, try to buy some pullbacks. I think as we go into June, and at least for the U.S. no later than maybe July 4th or so, I think we get this pullback. Then we might get optimistic for summer months here and early fall months even for the world, all right? But for the moment, it looks like it's going down. And as far as the global Dow index, which I should get back to working with a little more here, at any rate, that's the monthly, and I got to go to the weekly, okay? And I think it's just down, 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 okay? All right, so that's your weekly update that even though I know there's money going to be flowing into Europe for a long time now, their stock markets economy should do better. The rest of the world will just be dragging its feet behind Europe. U.S. can drag behind Europe for a while. Eventually will catch up and may yet be the later. And it just looks like to me, Europe at least, some of it can go up for 3 or 4 weeks, then drop off sharply maybe. but some of it can actually stop going up now and start pulling back. And I just don't know what to do for the next few weeks. You could see that Europe backs off a little, picks its head up, that it doesn't seriously sell till we get into late May, June. I'm just nervous they're going to sell anyways and sell now because of the U.S. stock market, okay? I think it's better just assume there's going to be some kind of pullback May, June with Europe as well. They just can hold up better and could still be the better buy later on. Even if U.S. creates a long-term bottom by, say, June, I wouldn't be surprised for the rest of the year that Europe can outperform the U.S. Very interesting times, and that's why I want to get going. For many years, I've focused primarily on just U.S. I want to focus on Europe and a few other places for many years to come now and include it with our normal stock market update. All right, at any rate, it looks like to me for level threes, I didn't explain this on these charts, the level threes, okay, are really what occurs during a month. It's a monthly buy-sell signal, okay? And I think what we want to do is, if I can get back to this quickly, pick one of these other funds that I put in here, if I can find it quick enough. Right, let's take this one. So a level three, the model's saying a level three should occur now, pull this back this week into next, all right? And maybe that'll be the level two top, and maybe not. But then we switch over to this other European fund, and it's saying, well, it really shouldn't top now. It should pull down and then go up. So again, maybe that also means U.S. is going to start down into late May to June slowly, allows the European markets to come down even slower still, or even bounce one last time. That's the conflicting point here. Hopefully I can explain that well enough. And this is the FTSE 100, by the way, weekly, and it really is due to set back next week. I think it's kind of lined with the U.S. at this moment. And then I've got these new things that I'm going to be talking about here. The Norway index, that should actually move higher than lower. But again, I just don't trust some of these lingering bullish things that they could just flip and get in line with the U.S. And this is the Swiss fund. That one is more in line with the U.S. and can back off. And then this is the new one, the Euro 100. That's already backing off now. I think it's the least ought to back off in the next week with the U.S. It may back off into May, June with the U.S. for the Euro 100. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. Have a great day. Thank you. If you're not a subscriber, if this stuff doesn't seem simple enough, ideal, giving you enough work to work with, you got to subscribe. It's only, you got 60 days free before it bills you, and then it's every month. You can cancel every time, and it's cheaper than most services, but I also don't provide individual stocks like most services, okay? But you try it, and you're going to find out the greater detail in the U.S. is very, very good, and I think I'll probably add greater detail here for European stocks and others moving forward. Thank you.